Hello, this is Yombok Group. I am currently at the Zeekr store in Hangzhou, China. There's a reason why I'm here. I told you that I would show you the 7X, which will soon be released in Korea in detail. And there's one more reason. Don't be surprised. Ta-da! I finally got my Chinese driver's license. I'll tell you how the 7X is different as I drive it myself from now on. First, I'll show you the 7X in detail. At the Zeekr showroom, you can see various Zeekr vehicles. Wow, are there really this many models? Since I already visited Zeekr 2 years ago and showed you various vehicles, today I'll focus on the ones I haven't shown before. Right in front of me is the 8X. I'm going to try out this vehicle. And wow, the 9X. This just looks like a Cullinan or a Rolls-Royce vehicle. But the car we really need to take a closer look at from now on is the 7X. Wow, impressive. Seeing the 7X in person, it's magnificent. Because of this rounded style, it kind of reminds me of the EV6, but if you look at Zeekr brand vehicles in general, the area around the hood also gives off an Audi-like vibe. If you look at recently released Volvo vehicles, this area is also quite similar. Let's start by checking out the design of the 7X. More than expected. The vehicle itself looks really cool. In Korea, people usually buy basic colors like black or white, but honestly, I think you can just go with black. It doesn't look boring at all. It feels really luxurious. My first impression is that it's stylish. The Stargate light is here, but the vehicles released in Korea will likely differ from those in China. The reason is, when I saw the Stargate light in China, it could make all sorts of images like rabbit shapes and even write letters. We need to check how much of this will actually be allowed under Korean regulations. And there's some really good news. The vehicle being released in Korea this time is the latest facelifted version of the 7X. The design isn't drastically different from the pre-facelift model. This part makes it easy to tell them apart. The redesigned air intake, which appears to boost aerodynamics, now looks more performance-oriented. Let me say it again. The 7X, which is about to be released in Korea, will make its global debut there as the facelifted model. If you look closely at the lighting section, the key part of the front, it's arranged in a long line, and if you look closely at the top, you'll see small patterns inside. And it's dotted along, giving off a sparkling jewel-like feeling. And in the middle, you can see it's filled in with teal right now. When you come to China and walk around the streets, you'll see these teal-colored lights. Why do you think they're teal? When the autonomous driving feature is turned on, you can see these teal-colored lights from the outside. Typically, you can see them on the front side, and if you look here on the side as well, you can see the teal color like this. When nearby vehicles see this, they recognize, oh, this car is using autonomous driving technology. The color is meant to make it obvious to everyone. On the rear side, you can also find the teal color below the reflector like this. It's clear that this definitely helps make it noticeable.
Zeekr is at the front center.
There's the car's logo. It lights up. See how it comes down like this. They say it creates the feeling of two people holding hands from both sides. Okay, I'll try opening it myself. This is the first look at the car's heart. The exact trim level of incoming vehicles hasn't been disclosed yet. Since there are currently two models listed on the Zeekr website, a vehicle with a 75 kWh standard battery and another with a 100 kWh long-range battery, it's expected that there will be two trim options. I asked about the price both after coming here and to the person in charge, but they absolutely wouldn't reveal it. But what we can expect is that, in Korea, it will have to compete with electric cars like the Model Y and the GV70. So, the expected price range, if it's the base trim and with the subsidy added, is probably going to be just under 50 million won. If it's the high-end trim, I think it'll be just under or just over 60 million won. All right, then let me tell you about the specs first. If you look at the specs available in the local market, the part you're probably most curious about is the charging speed. There are two types, 800V and 900V. At 75 kWh, it's 800V, and the spec is 103 in Korea, it's 100 kWh. At 100 kWh, the 900V system is applied, so 10 minutes is enough for charging. I don't think you'll feel frustrated because of charging anymore. And for the standard version and the high-performance version, in terms of horsepower, the maximum output for the single motor is 310 kilowatt. That's about 422 horsepower, which is over 400 horsepower. The 0 to 100 time is about 5.8 seconds. The high-performance version, of course, is a dual motor with motors installed on both the front and rear wheels. The maximum output is 475 kilowatt, which translates to about 646 horsepower. It's a monster among monsters. 0 to 100 is 3.8 seconds. At this level, people really say it's insane. Therefore, even compared to competitors in the same class like the Model Y or Genesis GV70, you can expect overwhelming performance. Then many people might be wondering, should I buy the Zeekr 7X this time at this level? The reason is that it's a premium electric car, but I mentioned that it might start in the 40 million won range. If you compare the main specifications, the overall length of the 7X is 4,825 millimeters, the Y is 4,750 millimeters, and the Santa Fe, which represents mid-size hybrids, is 4,830 millimeters. It's almost the same size as the Santa Fe. The most important thing is the interior space family's use. The wheelbase, which is the key factor in determining interior space, is 2.925 meters for the 7X, 2.890 meters for the Model Y, and 2.815 meters for the Santa Fe. At 2.925 meters, it's about 25 millimeters longer than the Palisade, which is a representative large SUV. The 0 to 100 km/h acceleration time for the high-performance version of the 7X is 3.8 seconds. Tesla, which represents electric vehicles, also does it in 3.7 seconds, and the Santa Fe, Palisade, and GV70 are a bit slower than that. The GV70, if you go for the high-performance version, is about at this level. And the thing people are most curious about is the charging speed. It varies depending on the trim, but with the facelift, an 800V system was introduced. And in China, a 900V system has also been released. So, I don't expect them to offer the 900V system in Korea either. Now let's take a closer look at the design. Bonus has a design where this locker is held on both sides, one here and another one there. And what I'm curious about, besides the design, is how luxurious this car really is, especially since my family will be using it. Now, if you take a look, the front suspension is equipped with a WC-type structure. Unfortunately, except for commercial vehicles, you won't find this in domestic Hyundai cars. Even in Genesis, it's the GV70, which is a competitor in the same class, doesn't have it either. You can only see this WC-type structure in the GV80 and in the upcoming GV90, G90, and G80. Oh, it's the WC type. You can't see the right side from here. You can only see a bit of the shock absorber here. Let me take a quick look. You can see it a bit from this side. You can see one of the links there. After checking, I found that the 5-link suspension is also applied on the right side. What does this mean? In domestic mass market cars, it's a trailing arm structure. On the other hand, in luxury cars, as I've already shown you in the undercarriage videos, it's based on a 5-link system, as you can see here. There are as many as 5 links. Actually, it's closer to 6. They're all interconnected with 5 links. When the wheels of the vehicle move, this system maintains its degree of freedom and helps stabilize the vehicle's behavior. So as you know, and I think we should mention Genesis again, Genesis uses a full multi-link based 5-link structure for the rear wheels. And since this vehicle isn't a top-of-the-line model, the Brembo system hasn't been applied. I think you'll be really surprised when you see the Brembo system. Take a look here. You can see this orange caliper on the largest flagship, the 9X. That's Brembo. It's difficult to see, so let's check another vehicle. Here it is. If the 7X is successful, the 8X will probably be released in Korea, and you can see it on the 8X. You can see the high-performance caliper right now. This caliper was made by Brembo. Guys, Brembo is a brake system you can see on cars like Lamborghini or Bentley. Brembo doesn't just share this kind of system with anyone. Zeekr is equipped with the world's top-tier best brake system. You can think of it that way, and it looks like this will be included in the 7X as well. The capacity might be a bit different, so it's a higher-end trim. In that trim, you'll be able to experience Brembo's brake system. Let's look at the side. The size of the vehicle itself is almost the same as the Santa Fe. You can think of it that way, but the interior is different. You can definitely expect a spacious interior, especially the second row. Genesis G90. Is it the GV90? No, it's not. It features an electric seat with a leg support, which you could see in those kinds of vehicles. You can now experience these features here in Korea. I'm curious about the interior and want to share more, but let me finish showing the exterior design first. Please bear with me just a little longer. The rear side has a vibe that's kind of like a Porsche. Earlier, I mentioned that the clamshell design at the front reminded me of an Audi vehicle. It's the same up to this part where the platform drops off. The rear side is the same as well. It's really sleek. It's the kind of feeling that makes you happy every time you see it. Now let's check out the rear design I was curious about. It's smoothly connected in a single line, so I like it more every time I see it. This line can appear very different based on its thickness and the panel lines on either side. At this level, you really feel like you're driving the latest car. Let me show you this in more detail as well.
Dot.
It's filled with these dense pixels. Oh. It looks luxurious. It's almost like looking at solid pebbles, you know? And the lettering is finished in black as well. Since the design is all black, you could call it all black. And there's one more thing I need to mention about the side, and that's these parting lines. Domestic vehicles once had plastic molding here, but they finished it like this. By using a concealed design, it gives a very clean impression. So if you see the 7X for the first time, you'll probably say the design is actually better than I expected. With this, we've looked at the exterior design and even the suspension. Now let's check out the interior space that we've been curious about. The interior space is just insane when I enter. It's crazy. The reason is you see the frame attached to the door here, right? This is a frameless door. A frameless door is actually quite a technical achievement. The reason is, since there's no frame, it's more vulnerable to wind noise coming from outside. Sealing and similar treatments are very important. That's because through this area, the joint where the door closes onto the car, right here, water can get in through this part. As you can see, it's closed now. After you close it, there's a structure where it clicks shut firmly after a short moment. When it's not fastened, there's this much of a gap. When it's fully fastened, it fits tightly together. Also, laminated acoustic glass is used. However, what's a bit different from Korean market cars is that it's thicker than expected. There are ways to improve sound insulation, not just by using laminated acoustic glass, but also by using thicker glass. In vehicles like the BMW X5, you can see thick glass, but in the Zeekr 7X, it's made up of 2 panes of laminated acoustic glass. Let's explore the interior we've been curious about. First, it comes with power-operated doors. How do you open this? Insert and pull? No, just your finger. Even if you just insert it in the front, you don't have to pull. Even if you insert it, it opens like this. This part triggers the sensor to open automatically. I'll try again. If you insert it naturally like this, it clicks. Did you see that? Another way to open it is like this. The frameless door window goes down. In this state, you open it like this. And I've told you several times how to choose a luxury car when you're picking a car. Be sure to check the hinge area. The hinge is shaped like this, machined from a cast piece. It holds the top and bottom firmly. But if you look at mass market cars, what's different is that they have a design where the metal is rolled up like this. This hinge structure is also visible on the first row door side. And you have to start looking at this car from the second row. There's a reason for that. You'll be surprised when you open the second row door. Usually the doors on cars you're familiar with open about this much. Still, this much is pretty good. There are a lot of benefits to having the door open wide. For example, it's easier to get in. Securing seats for young children is much more convenient. So I'll try opening it a bit more. Wow, this is crazy. It's open to 90 degrees. This structure was first applied by the Palisade, which represents large SUVs among domestic vehicles. I've already mentioned this structure is patented. Recently, the newly released Nexo also has doors that open 90 degrees wide. If it's like this, it's very convenient for you to get in. You can just slide your feet in easily, and if there's a seat, you can simply lift it in and set it down easily. This kind of structure becomes more satisfying the more you use it. So, the vehicle that has both powered doors and second row doors that open at 90 degrees is the 7X. It's definitely convenient. Let's check the door area as well. Since you're seeing it for the first time in the summer, I'll take a closer look at the door as well. The door has stitching on top. It's an element that enhances the sense of luxury. And since this vehicle is in a black color scheme, it looks a bit dark. There are various colors available, especially among Zeekr's attractive colors. Something like lava orange is also very appealing. And if you see the deep red color, similar to what we've seen on Porsche vehicles in person, I think you'll be really surprised. It's something like this. And the color that will probably be chosen the most in Korea is brown. I'll show you the brown color on another vehicle. The brown color of Zeekr looks like this. So you can choose the color you want. If you look at the interior seats, you'll notice something different. The first thing that caught my eye is right here. It's the headrest, and you can see it's perforated. In higher-end Zeekr vehicles, the headrest comes with built-in speakers. So I expect there might be speakers in this part of the Zeekr 7X as well. This is what the seat design looks like. They seem to have added a touch of gold in the middle to give it a more premium look. I think this is probably the basic feel. I've told you several times that the seat cushion size is important. It should be over 50 centimeters. That's why I brought a tape measure to China. We can't just skip over this. This is the seat cushion from the inside. The length of the seat cushion is about 52 or 53 centimeters. And the width is about 50 or 51 centimeters. With these measurements, you can think of it as being similar in size to the first row of a mid-size Santa Fe or the first row of a Palisade in Korea. The key is if this size extends to the second row. That's what matters. I'll measure the second row space soon. When you get in the 7X, you'll see a small instrument panel in front of you, and it's very clear. A small instrument panel displays only essential information. And in the center, there's a large display. What surprises people on site is how incredibly responsive it is. How is this even possible? That's how fast and responsive it is. I'll set up a separate UI review later, but let's take a quick look now. You can see this camping option here. There's a camping mode. You can use V12, and it even offers a pet mode. Since this UI is used across all of Zeekr's vehicles, I'll show this to you separately later. Let's just take a quick look at the menu. Let's just look at the UI. That's because no matter how well this UI is made, it'll take some time for you to get used to it. It's very clear, really sharp. Oh, I didn't know this kind of thing existed. And the buttons you use often are placed at the bottom. If you look at the user interface, you'll see that the most frequently used features, like all the air conditioning controls, are placed at the bottom of the monitor. The media back and speaker buttons are all commonly located here as well. And there are a total of 4 physical buttons. In the center, there's the volume control, which is used very frequently. It's impressive that they've placed it like this. And if you look at this detail, the protruding design not only looks premium, but I think it'll feel really nice every time you use it. It's provided like this. This is the drive mode. If you look, the lower part of the instrument cluster changes depending on the mode. The button to open the trunk, the volume button, and the button to open the glove box are right here. These are physical buttons. It opens very smoothly like this. And let me take a quick look at the ambient lighting. I think ambient lighting is really important in a car, and this one uses indirect lighting. There's a beat mode that makes it look alive like this, and if you look closer, it sparkles like a diamond. There's also a metallic material applied underneath here, so it sparkles indirectly as well. It sparkles, but instead of being too flashy or intense, it's implemented with a subtle feeling. Wow, the speaker design is amazing too. It feels like something I've seen in Volvo. In Volvo, this part was a bit rough, but this is unfair. It's not rough at all. They could have finished it like this, but they didn't. There's one more thing you should look at for the second point. There's something here. There's a storage space here that can be used as a sunglasses case or compartment. In Korea, the sunglasses case is gone now, right? It could have been provided this way, but it's unfortunate things like this are gone. They seem to know well how to make things look stylish, and to keep it from being boring, they've added metal materials here and there. It's not a completely yellow gold color, it has more of a rose gold vibe, so it feels even more luxurious. Here's the steering wheel design you'll use often. It's a D-cut design. The top and bottom are flat and the size seems about right. And the UI is provided like this on the left and right. The part that will probably surprise you the most in the Chinese market is this infotainment AI. In domestic vehicles, only simple commands like open the window or turn on the air conditioner are provided, but here they don't express it that way. It's more like, when you do this, do that for me. What this means is, for example, when I get in the car, turn on the air conditioner and open the window just a third for ventilation. Play the music I usually like, and on my way I'll stop by somewhere. After that, adjust the navigation so I can come back home. So when I actually tried using it, I was pretty shocked. Now, in the future, when PlayOS comes out in Korea, I expect it will be at about this level, but currently, Zeekr in the Chinese market has been doing this for a long time. I think you can look at it this way. You'll probably find these features very welcome. And there's another difference. I'm a man. When I use it, I can set up these features, but if my wife uses it, maybe the air conditioner turns on or the airflow is reduced, and that could be a bit uncomfortable for me. Because the vehicle recognizes the driver, it knows whether it's a man or a woman when you get in. So you can optimize the vehicle for yourself even before you leave the house. The center speaker, similar to the one I saw in a Volvo, feels like this. It definitely feels luxurious. What's surprising is that, although this appears to be a base trim vehicle, it uses suede finish materials. This used to be knit material in Korean market cars. But I expect that things like this will probably come as standard as well. In fact, even with just the base trim, if you compare it to the same class in Korea, you can see an interior space that's close to a high-end trim. The charging function you use often is dual. There's no need to mention the speed. And since heat is generated during charging, it has a structure that allows for cooling with an air vent like this. The cup holders have a really premium design like this. This feels nice. When we choose a luxury car, the feeling when opening and closing things is definitely different. Everyone listen closely. Listen to the sound when it closes. This is the feeling. I'll also try opening the middle section of the center console. When you open it like this, you can see that the center console in the middle is just a bit wider than the width of one palm. This is the amount of storage space you get. It offers charging capabilities of 27 watts and 60 watts. 60 watts is about the fastest standard. In Korea, options up to 100 watts have now been released. Take a look at these buttons on the side that you often use. There's metal at the end here. These things are also made quite well. Metal material is used here too. The sensor that recognizes the driver is located here. Yeah. Take a look at the tweeter too. Earlier models had rough parts, but the surface treatment here is excellent. This side now has a HUD installed. Let's take a look at the second row space that completes this luxurious interior. I'll check out the second row space I was curious about. You can release the seat from this side too. Let me unfold it. I press the button while the seat is currently folded. Now watch the speed. If it's too fast, it can look a bit cheap. This speed looks fine. There's a cover you can see in expensive cars. So you can see that this part is also finished quite neatly. This is the second row space. As I mentioned earlier, let's take a look inside through the wide opening door. If you just put your feet in and enter comfortably, the space itself is really spacious. This is how it feels when you sit in the second row. But this headrest definitely feels a bit luxurious. And the headrest is also wrapped in rose gold like this. They've wrapped the entire pocket behind the first row driver's seat in a rounded way to make it look more luxurious. These parts are made of a flexible material. Finishing it like this also looks luxurious. Sitting in the second row is uncomfortable if your shoes can't fit under the seat, but this car is amazing. Even among the electric vehicles I've seen, this space has the highest clearance. We can't ignore this. Many cars had cramped spaces that made things more uncomfortable. The height is considerable. It's well over 20. It's amazing. That means the seat adjustment range is really incredible. Since this space is over 20, you can use it conveniently. It doesn't matter what kind of shoes you wear, even boots. You can comfortably place your feet like this. So it's attractive that it allows you to sit in a more comfortable position. There are several important aspects in the second row space. Let's check the convenience features of the second row. The feature that makes the car feel less cramped when you get in is the roof above. The roof area is quite large, but if this roof only has just a glass roof, it gets too hot in the summer. So you need a cover, and the cover is power operated from this side. This is how it should have been. Korean cars are really good at this. I didn't realize Zeekr knew about this too. And the amazing part is the sound system. When we ride in a luxury car, they provide speakers on the ceiling like this. It creates a three-dimensional feeling with speakers installed on the ceiling like this. Honestly, I'm really jealous of this. This isn't offered at all in cars in the 50 or 60 million won price range. You could only see these ceiling speakers in high-end cars like the Volvo XC90 or BMW and Benz models that cost around 100 million won, but this car comes with ceiling speakers. Let's hear how it sounds. It has an output of over 2000 watts. The sound quality is clear and pure. It's clean. What amazes me is this space. Since speakers are provided on the ceiling above the headrest like this, you can definitely get a three-dimensional feeling. All the features I wanted are included.
Hey boy.
And the headrest has speakers. It plays music too. Also, I think various warning sounds will come out through here. So, thank you everyone. So if you look at the upper part, you can see speakers that surround the driver and the second row passengers like this, including the headrest. And one more thing, the second row speakers are also provided here. They're provided here as well. I wanted to use a car with features like this, and it's amazing. What about the space behind the front passenger seat? This really doesn't need any words, thank you. We usually talk about this with our fists, right? When I measure it with my fist, more than 4 fit in, so I'll try measuring this too. I'm sitting comfortably and moved back. When I move back, the space up to the front of my knees is over 30. It feels much more spacious than cars in the same class. It gives you as much space as the Palisade. That's why I mentioned this a moment ago. Most vehicles have over 50 in the front seats, but many have smaller second row seats, especially mid-size cars. There was a clear difference from the full-size class, but let's also measure the second row. Look at the size of the second row seat cushion. It's over 50. It's almost 53 or 54, I've always measured and told you guys. It has a wide seat. I've said that among mid-size cars in Korea, the Grand Koleos has the largest seat in this area. It has a seat that's even wider than the Grand Koleos. Notice the features that boost your satisfaction with every use. These protruding parts. It operates very smoothly as well. I'll try pulling the seat forward. Since the space is so wide, you should see how far it moves. It moves a lot, huh? What, it goes even further? Earlier, I told you this space was 30 now. It's been reduced this much. It's about this much and can move this far. Let me show you from the other side how far it moved. If you look from the other side, look over here. It has moved this far and can slide this much. Wow, there's really a lot of travel here. I think it can be used in various ways. Next, the relaxation feature. And there's one detail that shouldn't be missed. Wow, what is this? You know, when you're in a car, sometimes the seatbelt can rattle. You can secure the seatbelt firmly with this clip. You can secure it tightly. This is very nice and looks luxurious. Wow, adjusting it like this, these details are just amazing. And there's another surprising feature. This might not be standard, but as you can see, it's an electric sunshade. So, how does the electric sunshade work? Before sitting in the second row, the rear seats in the second row, well, you couldn't even see this in the E-Class. There were some cars that simply offered a relaxation seat function in the center. But it's completely different. It offers a function where the leg rest unfolds. In E-Class vehicles, it's hard to even find a feature like this. You can immediately see it's a display with another one in the second row. Let me sit down. Even in the second row, they use premium hinges. This is how it feels when you sit down. It's incredibly spacious, and the monitor feature that will entertain me is right here. Watch how fast it opens when I press it. There's a monitor in here that was just folded, but now it's unfolded. Let's watch it again. All right, you're curious, aren't you? It went inside when it was folded. And this is electric too. Wow, that's crazy, that's insane. Wow, is this really possible in an E-segment car? So, when you open it, the bottom part opens electrically first. You can see the monitor down there. It comes out like this. It's amazing, just amazing. I'm not sure if this feature will be available in Korea since it needs certification and approval, and the standards here are quite strict. I'm curious if this feature will actually be available in Korea. Thank you. Other factors affect second row space as well. No matter how great the features and options are, in the hot summer and cold winter, can the second row space be made warm or cool quickly? To achieve this, it's more convenient to have air vents like this on the pillar area. An air vent is located on the pillar, so it seems like it can cool down quickly. Ambient lighting is also provided in the second row like this. Of course, you can change it to various colors. And the second row sunshades, I mentioned them earlier. This type is electric. With the manual type, you pull it out from here and hook it here. There's nothing here. So this one is definitely electric. Let me try operating it. Hold it down. Wow. Oh. It works great. Now the other way around.
Wow.
But there's a slight difference. When I operate it at first, when I lift this up, we usually push it, right? This part is the opposite, like this. When you pull it down like this, you can see it goes up like this. And on the other hand, when you lower it this time, if you pull it forward like this, it goes down like this. I wish they had done this differently in Korea, but I'm not sure they focused on details this time. But it's really surprising that a power sunshade is provided. And if you touch the material in the second row, it's not just a cheap knit fabric, but suede. They even provide a hanger like this. I'm curious if this will be provided. The second row also has a multifunction display like this.
Oh.
It's basically locked like this so that kids can't mess with it or operate it carelessly. In this state, if you press this and slide it all the way over like this, it opens. These kinds of menus are provided. They will change. You can adjust the ambient color like this, and it's available in the second row. The brightness as well. Music playback, reclining functions, seat adjustment functions. Vehicle functions are all provided this way. I can't believe there's a car in the mid-size class that offers these features. I think I need to get the fully loaded trim. When you open the second row, a small space is provided here. And just like the GV80, this one folds down as well. For your information, in the G90 vehicle, this doesn't fold. So by folding it like this, 3 people can use it. There's a refrigerator provided behind the console. It's a fridge feature you don't see very often. I think you can easily fit about 6 or more drinks in there. Fitting a 1.5-liter bottle in there might be difficult. The refrigerator can be adjusted from -6 degrees up to 50 degrees. Wow, just imagining being able to use it cool here makes me happy. And finally, when you leave, there's a button. If you press the electric button, the door opens like this. Just push and go out. Wow, that's pretty nice. If you press the button below, it folds like this. The folding and unfolding function is provided by a button here. It's not manual, it's fully electric. It's not relay type, it's just electric. This is how it looks when it's completely folded. It's completely folded. Then from the end, how much would it be up to here? If you look directly at the space from behind the first row seat to the end, it's 2.04 meters. It's a space that even an adult can use comfortably. Now, if you plan to sleep in your car, you can put a camping mat in the middle behind the first row seat. The flat space is over 2 meters. When camping, the height of the trunk is a really important measurement. If you measure from the inside, it's about 70 centimeters. This is a bit short due to the characteristics of electric vehicles. At first, I thought the Zeekr 7X would be about the size of an electric SUV, about the size of a Santa Fe. But after looking at it closely, personally, before I actually saw this car, I wondered what it would feel like just looking at the photos. Still, I thought it might be similar to a Tesla Model Y, or if it were an internal combustion engine, a Santa Fe hybrid. But honestly, the feeling I got when I saw it was different. Including convenience features, texture, luxury, and various functions for families, honestly, it's come out so well that it's hard to even compare. If this vehicle is released in Korea, I'll try driving it on Korean roads. In the next video, I'll test drive the Zeekr 7X myself and focus on whether it's really luxurious and how it compares to its competitors. Well then, this has been Yeonmot Gureum at the Zeekr flagship store in Hangzhou, China. Thank you. If this was helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to get accurate new car information quickly. Thank you.